Hello everybody, Andy here again. This is one of those topics that I've been thinking about for a long time. I've been thinking about making a video about it, and the title of the video, as you probably already noticed, is questions and answers, because this is as I said, one of those things that sort of crops up throughout your life, crops up here on YouTube actually, crops up at work, in your personal life, your social life, family life, whatever, where we ask questions of people and the answers that we get back from them. Because my opinion is, don't ask a question if you don't want to know the answer, if you don't want to hear the answer. Now, we all do it in a sort of a social way, don't we? When we sort of see a friend, family member or something like that, and say, how are you? You doing all right? Or something like that. And it's not as a throwaway remark. It's a polite thing. We're not really interested, if we're honest about it, we're not particularly interested in what they're like and how their life is. It's politeness. I've seen this myself, and you may well have had this situation before, sort of an awkward social situation. But you've actually seen someone who said, how you doing? And they go, well, actually, I'm not doing that well, I've got this problem. And you think, oh no. And you get caught by it. It's a horrible thing to say, but I bet you'll sitting thinking, yeah, I've done that as well. You've asked the question, so don't be surprised if you get the answer. Don't be surprised if you don't like the answer that you get. It works here on YouTube, and we say, and I do it all the time. I ask for people's responses, whether they be videos, whether they be comments, whatever, about topics, things that I put out there, questions that I throw out there. And you always want to get the right answers back. In life, we always want to be liked, but the vast majority of us, we want to be liked. We want people to think that they agree with us, that we're on the same wavelength as people. And generally, I get very, very good comments, and most of the people that subscribe to me or that I watch my friends with, etc., we are pretty much on the same wavelength. And you know that the vast majority of the time you're going to get people that pretty much agree with you, or they come up with something that's along the same lines, but you can see exactly what they mean. But every so often someone throws a comment in there and it sort of takes you back a bit. And not saying I'm upset or whatever by it, because I'm not, because as I said, I ask for the questions. But if someone disagrees with you, and if they disagree with you strongly, don't be surprised, but don't let it actually sort of put you off. Don't take offence by it, because you've asked a question, they're just putting their point of view out. As long as they put it in the correct way, if they're not sort of nasty about it, we can't all be the same. That's what life is like. If everybody was the same in life, what a boring place that would be. They're sort of different thoughts and that, different people. Everyone's an individual, and that's what's great about life, isn't it? That's what's great about people. That's what's great about YouTube life in general, is that we are individuals. That's why we have conversations. That's why we ask questions, to find out what people are like deep down, find out a bit more about them. Maybe that's why we put our thoughts on that out here. Why I sort of do these videos. I'm sharing my ideas, my parts of my life, and I'm learning them from you as well. Another way that this works is at work, and you may notice this as well where you work. And the one that really sort of got me thinking about this, because you've probably been in the same situation as well, where your boss or your bosses, or especially further up the hierarchy, should we say, they put out questionnaires, or you see one of them, and they ask you a question about how you are, how your job is, and things like this, maybe aspects of your job. Now, normally what they're expecting you to do is to agree with them. And when someone actually turns around, whether it be me or whether it be a colleague or something, actually turns around and tells them exactly what they do think, and it's not what they want to hear, then you can see them visibly taken aback. But it's that old thing, as I said, if you don't want to hear the answer, don't ask the question. I've got a bit of a reputation for that in some ways, because I've always done it. If I meet a senior manager or something like that, I always think, well, if that person's asking me the question, within reason, I'm going to be honest with them. You know, you have to be a bit careful, a bit diplomatic at these things, as you are in life generally. But I can remember a situation years and years ago when I was fairly new, and I was only in my teens, late teens, and I was at work, and we had sort of literally the senior bosses of the company, you know, of the countrywide company come down, and they were asking questions, and they came to me, and I can't remember the specifics, and they asked me a question, and I just told them exactly what I thought. It wasn't nasty, it wasn't controversial really, but everyone sort of looked at me, and I could see some people sort of, God, yeah, he's telling them that, you know. And I think, well, why not? So, and afterwards, I got a lot of respect. I got a lot of respect from the managers, for that matter, for actually giving them the answers, because that's another point, is that the managers usually are shielded by this, and this happens, as I said, don't take it just as a work. This can work elsewhere as well. A lot of people are shielded from the real world in different ways. And if they don't know about something, they can't fix it, they can't put it right. If they don't get the information, they don't know, do they? So unless you actually have got the balls maybe, or you know, the understanding or whatever that says you've got to put it right, you tell them exactly what's wrong with a system. If they ask a question, you put them right. They'll probably think, yeah, that's right. And I've had that several times as well, when you've actually had the opportunity to explain something to somebody, and they've given you the opportunity. Whether they actually expect the answer, I don't know. But when you get into a deeper conversation, they take that on board. And I've had that, and people have actually actioned that, if you want to put it that way. They've gone away and they've thought about it, and things have come from it. There are times, obviously, when we do ask, and I can say from personal experience as well, through work and that, where I say, how you doing, and all that type of sort of throwaway polite remark. And then there are other occasions where you might actually say, how are you really? You know, I've had a few examples of that recently at work, where I've had to sort of speak to people because of things that have happened, and you've had to be a bit better about it. And one instance in particular, I asked the person, how you doing? And he said, yeah, I'm all right. And I thought, no, he's taken that as the polite question. He hasn't taken that as, this is the, you know, Andy really wants to know what you think, or how you feel. And then I saw him a couple of minutes later, and I said, how are you really? And it totally changed. So sometimes you have to ask, it's not just the question itself, it's the way that you ask the question. So think about that. If you are asking someone a question, maybe you've got to think about the way you put that question, and if you do answer it, think about your answer as well. Are you going to answer it truthfully? Are you going to answer it politely? Or are you going to answer it in a way that's both polite and it is a proper answer as well? You can explain yourself, you can give your opinion. So, but as I said, be aware that the truth can hurt sometimes. So if you ask something, because we've all done it probably, you know, what do you really think about me? You know, if someone said, if I put a video out there and said, right, met someone in one of you guys, sort of, shall I say, at a gathering, I said, right, what do you really think about me? What do you really think about my videos? I've got to be prepared for that answer. Maybe you want to tell me, I don't know, but I don't mind. You know, they say the truth can hurt, but we all can learn from it. If we get an answer, we can find out a bit more about ourselves. If we find out what people really think about us, really think about things generally, then we can, as I said before, we can work on that, and we can maybe take a step back. Sometimes we need to be told the truth. There are times when maybe we need the truth to be told to us, so that we can actually see where we're going wrong, what we're doing wrong, and so we can all change. We've all changed, I'm sure, throughout our lives because of things that we've learned, whether it be someone being truthful with us, or we've seen the way that people react to us, or we've just given something a little bit of thought, something sort of sparked something in your head, and you think, hang on a minute, that didn't quite go how I intended it to. Maybe there's a reason behind that. So, if you're asking a question, don't be surprised if you don't get the answer that you want. But questions, you know, if we don't ask questions, we don't get anywhere. One of the best words, in my opinion, in the English language is why. There you go. Think about that one. Anyway, thanks for your time. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.